All right, Mushi Mushi, hope you guys are doing well. I am sitting on my bed in a Tokyo hotel room, and today's podcast is a fun one. Today's came from Cardiff, Wales. I have never been to Wales before. It was my first time ever in Cardiff. Did I go out and see anything? No, I was just stuck in one place, and then I flew home. It's probably my own fault, though. I go in and out. I think I should have seen a little bit more of Wales. I wish I had seen a little bit more of Wales. Maybe next time. This was for Showmasters, and I want to say a couple things based off of this one. Couple things based off of this. First of all, hey, if there's a Showmasters coming near you, you should tell them that Colt should come. And I have a great relationship with them, and Steve Lynskey hooked it up, and I think this makes all the sense in the world because there was just the C2E2 that the Pro Wrestling Tees and Punk did in Chicago, and that's huge. It's like way too big. There's all these wrestling dudes. But with Showmasters, it's like all these convention people and then 3 or 4 wrestling guys, and we can do a live podcast there every time. They were always down with it. It's like if I can go to these different Showmasters and then I can do a live podcast, the stress of having a guest for a week is out the window. I can go, sign autographs, do a podcast, do a lot of fun. So I love the idea of doing these at Showmasters. Also, gives me a wide variety of guests. This week, Davey Boy Smith Jr. or Harry Smith or David Hart Smith or D.H. Smith, he came on, and also Bob Holly, and I gained a weird friendship with Bob Holly. I talked a little bit about it before, and you'll see it in this one, and then hopefully, I think this summer we're going to get together and do a formal one-on-one podcast, which I really look forward to, as it was very unexpected. So enjoy this episode. I'm in Japan. Things are going well. Chris and I are doing very well in the Global Tag League. Big in USA. We got some Ribera-style jackets. The Ribera-style t-shirts are up at our ProWrestlingTees.com stores. I'm going to pitch it right over to this live show, but first I want to tell you about some plugs and
upcoming events.
Very quick, let's rock these out. Twitter and Instagram at Colt Cabana, Facebook, AOW Podcast and Colt Cabana. ColtWrestling at gmail.com is my public email if you want to put me on your show or upcoming convention. CutMyPromo.com. Did you see the one with Nordica this week? Too funny in Japan. ColtCabana.com is my website. I love getting stuff in my P.O. Box. Hopefully you send me something. I got some upcoming events. I'm going to be at Pro Wrestling Noah until May 4th. If you're a Gaijin, come say hello at the merch table while I'm selling my threads for yen. Saturday, May 9th, Summit, Illinois, ResistancePro.com. Friday, May 22nd, Valparaiso, Indiana, Smash Mouth Pro Wrestling. Saturday, May 23rd and June 6th, both Saturdays, Rahway, New Jersey, ProWrestlingSyndicate.com. Sunday, May 24th, Kenosha, Wisconsin, SSWOnline.com at the Brat Stop. Saturday, May 30th, here's a new one, Marmo, Sweden. Yeah, I'm going to Sweden, WrestlingPalacet.se. I know I said that wrong. ColtCabana.com has my appearances. Friday, June 12th, Munich, Germany, WXW-Wrestling.com. Sunday, June 14th, London, England, RevolutionProWrestling.com. And August 7th through the 31st, Edinburgh, Scotland, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. I'm doing ICW shows. I'm doing live podcasts. I'm also doing a nightly show, 11 p.m., thestand.co.uk. Tickets are available. I think it's an £8 ticket. Very cheap for you guys. I do have some sponsors this week. Why don't you be cool and listen to the sponsors? How about the Art of Charm podcast? Yes, it's a show about truly leveling up in life and relationships and friendships at work, home, and everywhere in between. It's been a top 50 podcast just like this one in iTunes, and some say it's highly addictive, like in a good way. Topics brought up include how to create confidence, how to get people to like and trust you, how to keep things fresh in relationships, how to create or end relationships. It's educational but fun and funny at the same time. They believe personal growth shouldn't be so boring all the time. Art of Charm has studied field-tested psychology principles from Special Forces, Navy SEALs, and world-class intelligence officers, then reverse-engineered those same strategies and applied them to social life. It's a podcast that brings together entrepreneurs, artists, thinkers, leaders, and all-around interesting people together to discuss relationships, attraction, life hacking, success, and more. You deserve an extraordinary life. You deserve an extraordinary life. Go to theartofcharm.com or find The Art of Charm in iTunes or Stitcher and start taking your life to the next level. And we're also sponsored today by NASM, or the National Academy of Sports Medicine, who is looking for people who want an exciting career in the fitness industry, where you wake up every day doing something that you love. NASM trainers are improving people's lives by helping them reach their health and fitness goals, and the demand for these trainers is huge. Imagine waking up every day excited to go to work, not to a job, but to a rewarding career, just like my wrestling life. Get paid to stay in shape while helping others reach their fitness goals, just like my wrestling life. You set your own hours, just like my wrestling life, work in health clubs, sports clinics, and corporate wellness, and you'll love who you work with. Do what you truly enjoy and get paid for. You see the theme going on here? There is no better time than now to get started on your certification with the National Academy of Sports Medicine. Plus, NASM guarantees you'll land a job as a personal trainer within 60 days of earning your CPT certification or your money back guaranteed. Go to myusatrainer.com for a free 14-day trial of their fast and fun online program. That's myusatrainer.com, myusatrainer.com. Thank you for listening to those. Thank you for supporting those. And thank you for coming back week after week. This week we are in Cardiff, Wales. And let's start the show live at the Showmasters Convention.
This is the Art of Wrestling with professional wrestler Colt Cabana.
It's Colt Cabana.
All right, how you guys doing? Come on in, sit down, let's get this started. You are listening to The Art of Wrestling, a professional wrestling podcast. It's a life podcast, it's a personal journal, it's an entryway into the minds, souls, hearts, and lives of people involved in the world of professional wrestling. I am your host, my name is Colt Cabana. I am a cosplayer, Simon Cowell today. That's pretty good, right? I'm a Welshman, sure, why not? Most importantly, though, I am a professional wrestler, and we are not sitting here live today in the studio. Very cute, guys. Always sounds a little weirder when it's not a thick Chicago accent, but a Welsh accent. Is that what it would be called? Sure. I thought like a Welcunian or something. That's not right. No, I'm sitting here in Wales, Cardiff, Wales, at the Showmasters Comic-Con in front of a live studio audience. Hello. Hey. Don't feel that was the weirdest hello ever. Like that was like somber Jim Duggan, just like, oh. Before we go any further, this is a fan-supported and listener-supported podcast supported by people just like you. We give it to you free of charge every single Thursday on ColtCabana.com, Stitcher, iTunes, wherever you get your podcast from. A couple great ways that you can support, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Tell a friend via social media. Look over next to the person next to you and say, hey, you should listen to Colt's podcast, which would be pretty weird because you're all here, so you're obviously listening to it live. So it just got real awkward and real weird. The best way that you can support, though, ColtMerch.com and DigitalColt.com. T-shirts, buttons, pictures, posters, DVDs, digital downloads, episodes 1 through 35. The Wrestling Road Diaries. Also, while you're here, I guess not today because today's kind of done. This is the end of the show, but tomorrow, all during the Showmasters Comic-Con, I will be at ColtMerch.table, which is downstairs and is manned by my friend Rachel. I'll get into it in a second, but that's a great way to support. Okay, we're live here, and I have a person, and poor Rachel over here. Rachel, say hello to everyone. She wants to be a star. Say hi, Rachel, everyone. Yeah, she's like my bodyguard, which is fun. I mean, I get it if you're in Game of Thrones or Harry Potter, and you're just like 5 foot nothing, 1 stone. I don't know how to do the stone conversion, so I assume that's... Right? 1 stone's like 25 pounds, something like that. 14 pounds? 13? 14. So I am a genius. I could understand that, but I don't think the wrestlers need bodyguards. Like, imagine, like, what's Bob Holly going to do when there's a rush of people asking for his autograph? I think just beat the shit out of people. Sorry, Bob. Okay, no fun stories from today. We've just been sitting at a table, signing some autographs, saying hi to all you lovely people. And sadly, I'm going to say there's more people here listening to my podcast than came to get my autograph. So a big F you to half the people in the crowd. Little girl, I didn't say the F word because you're here. So, congratulations. We're going to get this started, though. But first, I'd like to welcome up a good friend of mine, referee to the stars, Steve Lynskey, please. Come on up, Steve. Hey, buddy. Steve, there's, you know my love for the British wrestling scene, right?
Oh, absolutely. Since day one with you.
That sounded so sarcastic by you.
No, seriously. Seriously, I've said this before. I've said this in interviews. You are the quintessential person that has come over as an American and made British wrestling their own style. And I would say that. Would you not agree with that, guys?
So in my love for the British wrestling, there was, when you go back and you watch, so when I first got here in 2004, there was a channel called the Wrestling Channel, right?
Yeah.
And so there was all different kind of wrestling in World of Sport, which was, which should be your WWE, but sadly, it's more like your WCW, right? Sorry. Of course, right? I mean, it should be what your wrestling is, but now it's not. It's not here anymore.
But it was. It was at the time.
Yes.
16 million people, which might not sound a lot to the American audience, but 16 million people a week would tune in to ITV and watch the World of Sport on a Saturday afternoon. So, yeah.
Yeah, and there was a referee there.
Max Ward.
And his name was Max Ward. You knew it. By a round of applause, is anybody familiar with the name Max Ward? We got a couple. So Max, now in WWE, they don't allow you to say the referees' names anymore. They're not even allowed to be people. Do you know that? Yeah. That's a Vince order. Referees aren't human beings anymore. They're just assholes in black and white striped shirts, okay? But Max Ward would, he was a personality, right?
Yeah, he was a household name. You associated British wrestling, and again, it would be your Jackie Pallows, your Mick McManuses, Big Daddy, Giant Haystacks. The referee, Max Ward.
Yeah, and not only that, he had his name on the back of his shirt.
He had Ward.
Like it was a jersey. And I feel that you're our generation's Max Ward. Is that fair enough to say?
Wanna.
And that's how with Max Ward, he wouldn't get on his hands and knees to count, right?
No.
Your referees, guys, and I'm talking about you people, were so lazy. They wouldn't get on their hands and knees. So what did he do?
One, two.
He'd either stomp his foot or look at the ground and go, yeah, that looks like, that looked like a kick out. I'm not going to call that. Do you ever not get on? Have you ever taken up that?
No. No, I tell a lie. I did WXW in Germany, the 16 carat. And they specifically asked me to referee Fit Finlay and Johnny Kidd. And the promoter's exact words was please, referee English, okay? So I went all Mal Mason on them.
What? And so you thought to yourself, okay, how do the English ref? Oh, right, they're lazy pieces of shit.
To be fair, I was 110 pounds heavier, so I didn't really want to get
it was a great day for you.
Yeah.
Amazing. So how long have you been in wrestling?
26 years.
26. Have you been reffing for 26 years?
No, I started wrestling, and then I found out that I was shit. I'm not going to lie. I'm not the greatest worker in the world, but I have talents elsewhere. Refereeing, I think I've found my niche.
Yeah, so you wanted to stay in wrestling, and you did. But somebody was somebody was like, Steve, maybe it's time you stop the wrestling, right? No, right? Because you switched to refereeing. I mean, listen, in wrestling, we are so egocentric that, we all think we're the best. So somebody had to sit you down, No,
what happened was I was at an FWA show at the time, and that's going back a few years as well. They didn't have a referee. So they asked me if I would referee.
So they took a poll of who the shittiest wrestler on the show was.
And they said, you're a really good referee. You're a really good referee. You do it. And I thought, cool. And that's what I've stuck at.
And so you took the ref's job?
Yeah.
All right. And now you're you're kind of a liaison. You're right. What would the role be like? I mean, you're a referee now. You're a ring announcer.
Agent. If you can call it that.
You're an Asian?
Yeah. Oh, look, this stitchy, no good, no good.
Wow. Sure.
Asian, right?
He gets a round of applause.
We have fans of a certain car program.
Racism just got a round of applause here in Wales. And there's one lady with her head down in disgust of everybody else clapping for that.
Agent.
An agent, yes.
Agent,
yes. No, nothing to be sorry about, obviously. The fans loved it. Cool. And then you're just, so you're doing it all now.
Yeah, pretty much. I run shows in the Middle East. I help to run shows in the Middle East. Obviously.
Oh, there would be so many other jokes that I'm not getting into right now.
These lovely people, showmasters.
Yeah.
Who you've come through me to come. So I get to do something that I love and involve with wrestling all the time.
Awesome. Where can they find you in the world of the internet, Lynskey?
Oh, well, I'm on Twitter. It's at Steve Lynskey. Facebook, just look up Instagram. I've just started Instagram.
Oh, Mazel tov.
Yeah, Instagram. YouPorn. No, sorry.
Yeah. I didn't ask what you're on daily.
I'm
I guess
sorry.
I kind of did, didn't I? Hey, you answered it correctly. Great. Cool, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Steve Lynskey, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
That would be one YouPorn video I would not want to watch. What if there's a fetish for like everything in the world, right? Like, what if he was just the king of YouPorn? I mean, people are watching Ron Jeremy left and right. Somebody, of course, there's something for everybody. I'm a firm believer in that. I've got some weird stuff I'm into, but there's this little girl here, and I just. I just can't do it. Applause! Lynskey with 2 applause breaks. Who would have thought? Let me bring up the next guest to the stage. Please welcome. I'm gonna say, and I think it's correct, Mobile, Alabama's very own. There it is, Bob Holly. Mobile, Alabama, huh?
Yes, Mobile, Alabama.
Which is the south of not the south of the South, but that really
that's down pretty deep in the South.
That's a Southern stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah.
I mean, NASCAR that's a real thing.
Yeah, NASCAR is a real thing. Yes.
Like that's your true love.
I love NASCAR. I love racing. Period. You know, if a true fan of mine obviously knows that. I raced cars for several years before I got in WWE. And there's nothing like racing side by side with another car where you could literally reach out and touch the car beside you.
Ever been done before?
No, unless I want to lose an arm.
Well, that's
but no, it is. It's a good time. It's fun. I just raced for fun because I love racing. I'm a car guy anyway. I love cars. If when I'm not wrestling, I got my head buried deep into my Jeep. I'm working on that right now, so I'm always fooling with cars.
Yeah. Who taught you the car? I feel that's like a Southern Mobile, Alabama father-son hand-down. Like, does that make sense?
No, actually, I ended up having to teach myself. Let me take that back. I didn't grow up with a dad. My dad wasn't around. But
great, I'm an asshole.
Yeah,
now.
you
Thanks.
are. No, I like you. You're fine. No, and because I've always been into cars ever since I was a little kid, I always did the Hot Wheel thing and made the track and stuff like that, and played Hot Wheels. So I've always been into cars, and so that's just always been one of my passions. And then I've seen racing on TV, so I've always followed it.
But there's a step from I like to do Hot Wheels to I know how to. Like change the oil? I don't know how to do that.
Well, the thing, you just do it. The thing is, the way I've always looked at something, okay, if I can't fix it, there's somebody else that can. So why not at least try? And that's the way I look at stuff. Even like with home projects, repairs at home. It's like, okay, there's a way to fix it, and if I don't at least try, I'll never know.
Is your theory, because like my theory is well, there's two different sides of it. Being a Jew, it's like I don't want to pay that much money, like this guy.
I don't either. Trust me.
So that could be the side. But then also the other side of the Jewish part is the manual labor, which I want nothing to do with. So I'm happy to pay somebody else. But so I get it. Like there's somebody knows how to do that. Why not be the guy to do it? But how do you your work? There's cars at home, and there's. I just feel like a car is so expensive that if you're gonna try it and you fuck it up, you lose so much.
Well, the way I look at I'm gonna pay for it either one way or the other. So it's like, why not try? If I fail. Hey, if I don't fail, if I can fix it, guess what? I've saved myself, $500, $600, $700, $800. You don't know unless you try. And so that's how I learned how to work on stuff. Like, a car, for example. I hung around, and when I got into cars, I hung around people that knew about cars. So that's how I learned, watching them, getting my hands dirty and doing it myself.
Okay, what kind of people are these people?
You don't want to know.
I do. Like the car circuit, or like
no,
Bob
just
down
like,
by the
my buddies that were mechanics and stuff like that. I've always been a car guy, so I've always hung around people that knew about cars. And so like in high school, there was a shop class where you had your guys that were into cars that had the cars.
So we're of different generations, and is that okay to say? I don't want to make
All
right.
really?
But I don't know how it is in Wales or the UK, but I always heard of like high school. There that wasn't a thing when I was growing up to work on cars in high school. But that was in your school?
I guess it went away.
Yeah, it must have.
It must have.
That was a thing in high school?
Yeah, because we had like auto shop.
Yeah, we
there
never
was a
had
class
it.
called auto shop.
No.
Yeah, and you work on your own car, or the teacher has a car, and you get different projects to do, whether the car needs to be fixed or not. They have you tear it down and put it back, and I even took a lawnmower motor class. You take a class in
right.
little lawnmower engines.
Now that
like
Auto Shop just sounds like an app on your iPhone.
Now I know we're probably boring everybody with the auto stuff, auto shop stuff. You kind of went there, so we had to go there. But
sorry,
yeah, I mean now they have.
I'll take credit for that.
Yeah, you need to. It's your show. But they have college courses for automotive industries and stuff like that. Which cars these days are getting so hard to work on. I hate them.
You don't? Yeah, because
I don't like them.
I got a new car and I opened up the hood and it almost looked like electronic a little bit.
Where do you start?
Well, I mean, I got no clue.
Everything on them is electronic now, and trying to find an electronic problem in a vehicle is a nightmare. You have to have a little code thing. Can we talk about something else?
No problem. Sorry. So listen, I might make it weird up here, right, Bob?
No, you're okay.
Well, I already have a little bit, but listen, I met you in SmackDown 2009. You probably don't even remember that. Like, I think it was right. We were crossing paths. We don't have we're not. Maybe this is the first the most we've talked.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, you have a reputation amongst a lot of people in wrestling, and maybe this is a great opportunity to change it or whatever. Not even change it, but you seem like the most relaxed, normal person right now. And in general.
Yeah, well, I mean, people seem to forget. I play a fucking character on. Oh, sorry. I play a character on TV.
Right.
Okay, and people forget that.
Yeah.
And the way I look at it, I must do a pretty damn good job of making my character believable. I must, because I promise you, if the things that are said about me on the internet were true, do you really think now use your head here? Think about this. Do you really think Vince would have kept me around for 15 years? Honestly. Now, who would put up with somebody that was that bad for 15 years? Nobody would want to work with me. First of all, I'd get my ass handed to me in the locker room every single day I'd walk in if that was the case, and it wasn't the case.
You're real riled up right now. I'm kind of scared.
Because
if you go into Vince's office and you're like, Vince, you're going to work with me for another fucking 15 years. Oh, all right. I'm sorry, Bob.
So it's like people. I don't think people really stop and think like, hey, let's put two and two together here.
But you know of that stigma on you.
Yeah, because you know where it started. It started with the whole thing with Matt Capitelli.
Okay.
And to this day, people still talk about that. And it's like, I did nothing no worse to him that I've done to anybody else, and that I haven't been done to me. Number one, I didn't knock any of his teeth out. I didn't break his jaw. I didn't break his nose. He got a black eye, for God's sakes. Okay? Have you ever seen, I want to ask you, you've been in the wrestling business for how long?
This is my 17th year.
Okay. Name one person other than Matt Capitelli that ever cried because they had a black eye and a fat lip and that that cried and wanted to quit the business. Tell me one person, please. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir. I'm intense.
I know.
Say?
Yeah. I don't know.
Right.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Okay, look.
Well, the ones that did, they weeded themselves out, I guess, and they kind of.
And you know, Matt and I are good. Trust me, we're good. And the thing is he understood what was going on. At the time, he didn't. But that was my job to go in there and see what these guys can take. And it's like Randy Orton. They had me work with him for 2 months straight, every single night on house shows. They came to me and said, beat the piss out of him every night. We want to see what this guy has got.
Now, can I ask, like, I guess you don't want to name names, but like, I'd ask you to name names, like who's they. But if you don't want to name names, it's almost like in what position were this?
No, I have no problem.
Okay.
JR, I was on his podcast not too long ago, and he'll admit he would come to me and say, see what these guys have. You know, put him through it, and not one single time, you know, did I ever hurt Randy? No, my whole career I never put anybody out to where they'd miss a day of work. So obviously I wasn't that rough as they say I am. But the thing is Randy never, not one single time, said, "Hey, why is he doing this to me? He's too rough." Or not one time did Randy ever say that. You know, and then they knew, hey, because they had big plans for the guy. And obviously, you see where he's at today. You know, he made it. But the thing is
that's why we never wrestled. I never had big plans for me.
Right. And the thing is, I felt like I was there. You know, sometimes I just, we're all used in a sense.
Yeah. You felt you were used like almost like as an enforcer, huh?
You know,
is that a good word to put with it? Like in a hockey team, almost.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
But they just knew that whenever I went out to the ring and gave 100%, and I was intense, and it's like, it's like working with Chris Benoit or anybody like that. If you're going to work with a guy like that or Bradshaw, you better be ready. And that's just the way it is. Whenever I was going to get to work with Bradshaw, I was like, oh, hell yeah, because I knew I didn't have to worry about anything. It's like, I didn't have to adjust the way I worked to Bradshaw because I knew he could handle whatever I...
So when you were about to work with him, you'd say, oh, hell yeah.
Right, because I knew it was going to be fun.
Do you think like Steve Austin overheard you saying that? And then, and then made $1 million with it?
I never thought about that.
You never know. So, I mean, you keep on dropping that.
I enjoyed working with guys like that, and it was fun. And that's just the way I've always worked. And I think the whole thing with Matt Capitelli is what put it over the top. If he would have never came on TV and ever did what he did and talked about it like the way he did, it would have never been a big issue. I promise you, they wouldn't be talking about it. And he was just, the thing is with him, he was moving around so much in the car. It's not like I intentionally meant to kick him. I promise you that. When you boot somebody, you either boot him in the side of the head, and of course, he doesn't know me and I don't know him, and he's moving around so much. And was I a little rough on him? Maybe. But that's how I am with everybody, even whether you're new or not. You get what you get when you get your name, when you see me in the ring with you. And that's just the way it is. And I expect it back. That's how I am. If I dish something out, I completely expect it back 100%. And because I've always been a firm believer is, okay, we know it's a work. Make it look as believable as possible without crippling somebody, and that's just how I operate.
I do want to talk about some of the other guys that you've worked with, and in saying this, like I was thinking, so you started in the WWF in like what year-ish?
In the beginning of 94.
Okay, 94. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I almost feel you were one of these guys, and you were like the only one to make your way out of it, but like you were there for all these bizarre... Mantar, Max Moon, right? Like Ludwig Borga. Am I correct?
No, you're right. Yeah. And the thing is like it got to the point where I wasn't going to survive because Sid Vicious is the one that he saved me pretty much because they had sent me home for a while because they weren't doing anything with me, as the Sparkplug character.
And then he's like, Bob, you want to come play some softball with me?
Yeah, I know. And the thing is
Well, right. Was the Sparkplug character, do you feel it was like one of those just like, hey, we're trying anything characters almost?
Well, it actually, because of my racing background, when my contract came in the mail, it said Thurman Sparky Plug, and I was like, okay, this has got to be a rib, But it wasn't. Come to find out, it wasn't. And back then, everything was kind of a cartoon character anyway, so it just fit, and I was like, I'll just deal with it, and take it how it comes. And I was never comfortable playing that character. Never comfortable, because what race car driver is happy 24 hours a day? And it's not, because that's how they wanted me to be, and that just, I couldn't, it just wasn't possible, because number one, when you're a race car driver, your race car dictates your mood for that night, because most race car drivers are in a pissy mood, because if you don't win, you're in a pissy mood. But the thing is, it's
the only thing I could relate that to was Knight Rider.
yeah.
I was like, oh, who drives a car? That's all I have. I am nowhere on the NASCAR page, but I'm learning. Thank you.
And but honestly, because Sid and I rode together a lot because we worked out together, and Sid wasn't compatible with a lot of people. Him and I we got along really well. So it was one of those deals where Sid said, either bring Bob back or I'm going to quit.
Over you?
Yeah, seriously.
Ooh.
Yeah, I talk about it in my book. Because, and I thank Sid for that, too, because that's how, Bob Holly was born. Actually, they brought me back as a tag team partner for Bart Gunn for that whole Midnight Express thing, which Jim Cornette was against that from the beginning.
Were you which one were you?
I was Bombastic.
Bombastic, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and so that was another corny thing. And I knew that wasn't going to fly, but I was like, hey, it gets me back on TV, because that's the way I looked at stuff. I looked at it, I tried to look at everything, in a positive light, like, okay, it'll get me back on TV. This is just something to get me to that next level, to where I could come up with something different, and so when that whole thing fell apart, the whole Al Snow Job Squad thing was starting to evolve. And so Al threw my name in the hat for that deal, so I got brought into that, so they dropped all the goofy names and stuff, and I was just Bob Holly.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel like it's interesting? I think it's interesting that you said, like, I'm looking to get on so I can get to where I want to be.
Right.
So like in 1994, did you picture the character of Hardcore Holly exactly where you would? Is that like the character of you, Bob Holly?
It's a reflection of my personality.
But is that what, like, if in 94, if they were like, hey, you could be whoever you want, is that what you would have been? Ish. Did you have a picture of? Like,
I honestly didn't have a picture.
Right.
I just knew there was something else, but I didn't. I couldn't put my finger on it, because I knew, I could be utilized in a different way. And all of us, when we're there, everybody has a dream of being a world champion. I don't care who you are. You dream of being on. Once you're in the door, your dream is to be on top, and that's how I worked. Whether I was going to get there or not, that's how I perceived everything. It's like everything is a next step, so just take it as it comes and just do what they ask you to do. Because I didn't raise hell about nothing. They told me to do something, I did it. I never gave them problems with anything, and that's another reason I lasted so long. And so when the whole hardcore thing came along, because again, that whole Job Squad thing kind of ran its course, then all of a sudden there was nothing else for me. And it's like, shit, what am I going to do?
Sid.
Well, he was gone by then.
Come back, I need you.
So he was gone by then, and then that's when they started the hardcore thing, and then Vince is the one that came up with, hey, we're going to call him Hardcore Holly,
and that kind of defines your career.
It really does.
And are you, when you look back at it, are you a little happier that Thurman plug isn't really what defines your career, and it's you have to be. Yeah.
And the way I look at that whole thing is like, it gave me my start, because I had a great run. I made good money. I didn't make great money. I made good money. I was smart with it. As to where today I can pick and choose what I want to do, but I have to be smart. So I look at it like, that was my start. And a lot of people, like, they make fun of it, and I get they make fun of the name and stuff like that. But you got to look at it like, if they said you're going to be Thurman Sparky Plug, are you going to tell WWE no?
Hey,
there you go.
You're going to be the Jewish accountant Scotty Goldman. Are you going to tell them no?
You know, so
Yes, sir.
So that's kind of how I look at it, you know, and justify. Okay, you know, I did the silly thing, but it got me to where I needed to get. I didn't get where I wanted to, and I'm okay with that. I really am, because not everybody can be on top.
Do you have one Ludwig Borga story?
I don't have any.
Were you around for him?
I came in right after he left.
What about Friar Ferguson?
I don't even know who that was.
Really? What about Max Moon?
I don't have any Max Moon stories. I know
Battle Cat. I'm just going to list them off.
I mean, I did have a run-in with Max Moon back in the WOW days.
WOW. So, Max...
when he was with Bad Company, he was Bad Company.
Right.
Yeah.
Paul Diamond.
Paul Diamond,
Okay.
yeah.
What was WOW?
World Organization Wrestling.
You just said that to me like I'm supposed to know what
You
that
are. I thought you know everything.
Well, I know you were in the Mid-South territory before. Is that what that was? I don't think I've ever heard of
it. It was out of Pensacola, Florida.
Oh, really? WOW to me was that magazine that Apter ran after PWI. So this was to be honest, I don't think I've heard of. That was a territory that was sustainable.
Yeah, it ran for about 2 years, about 2.5 years, somewhere around there.
In like those fledgling like global wrestling years, right?
Yeah.
Like I guess it had to be early 90s, right?
When they had territories, it was like 86 through 88.
Okay.
You know, and then once I left there, I went to Memphis and stayed up there and starved to death and said, I'm not doing this, and went back home.
And then...
And Jeff Jarrett's up there getting fat and happy, and everybody's starving up there, and walks into the dressing room, and everybody's, you know, pissed off at their pay for 2 weeks. Literally, my pay for 2 weeks was $180. I still have my check stub from that, and he's wondering why everybody's pissed off. And it's like, come on, Jeff.
And he's driving his Ferrari around.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wait, we're not all getting Ferraris?
You know. So, but yeah, that's pretty much how everything got rolling. But yeah.
Well, cool. So nowadays it's just this is like the retirement plan of a like. I guess you kind of wonder, like, Hardcore Holly on TV for 15 years, and I know it's the independence. Is it kind of just like going to wind it all down? And
probably. And
yeah.
I mean, I'm not looking to go back to WWE by no means. I mean, I'm telling you, I am happy doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to tell you why I like doing independence. Because for this very reason right here, because I get to talk to these people. These people get to know me instead of the guy on TV, you know, that's supposed to be this straight-laced, you know, just go in there, take care of business, boom, be done with it. Because, you know, there's so many different stories out there of how I am, and that's not the case, you know. And that's, I want you guys to get to know, you know, me instead of Hardcore Holly, and this is my way to do it. And it's also my way to give back to you guys, too, and tell you thank you, because I couldn't do it without y'all. And you know that. You guys know that. And this, because WWE, I appreciate it, thank you. Because WWE, you guys don't get a chance to know anybody. You know, you kept at a distance, and we do a meet and greet. Hi, how are you? Get the hell out of here. And, you know, in this way, it's a good chance for me. You know, I pick and choose what I want to do, you know, and this is my first comic convention I've ever done, and I'm having a great time doing it. And I really appreciate you having me on your show, too.
Of course.
Thank you. I've listened to your shows before, and they're good. They really are.
I'm trying.
No, you're doing a great job. You are.
Okay.
I'd love to be on again.
Yeah, we'll have to do a
Yeah,
full episode.
absolutely.
Okay, let's get a plug in. You have a book. A book. I said that weird. A book.
Yep.
You have a book.
I have a book, and these stories that we were just telling you, and plus many, many more are in there. It's, you know, the Hardcore Truth, the Bob Holly story. You can either get it from me or Amazon.com. And also, I'm on Twitter. I don't have Facebook.
Boo! No, just kidding. Sorry.
But I'm on Twitter at the Bob Holly, and one thing I do is talk to everybody that tweets me. I will answer you. I may not get to you right away, but just be patient. It might take a couple days, or I might get to it right then. But, you know, if you do tweet me or follow me or whatever, I will talk to you. So, you know, just if you say hey or whatever, I'll say hi back. I promise you I will answer you back.
That's a hell of a promise.
Yeah.
I won't do that. Fuck.
And again, that's another avenue for me to tell people thank you,
Yeah.
you know, and to let people know, hey, I'm not this, you know, monster that's been created on TV or the internet or whatever.
I'm not a monster. I know how to use my keyboard. All right?
Yeah,
It
you
proves
know,
it.
right? And so that's, you know, and because I know what it feels like to be ignored on Twitter, and I feel for you guys, because when you tweet these superstars that you guys pay good money to see, and they're there because of you guys. You know, it's I'm not going to ignore you. It's
Also,
just that
you
simple.
said, I know what it feels like to be ignored on Twitter, and all I just pictured is you, like, tweeting, I don't know, like Mick Jagger being like, I want to know why you rule.
Actually, I talk to NASCAR people.
Do you try-
know,
do you hit 'em up?
I do. I'll tweet like Brad Keselowski. He drives the number 2 Miller Lite Ford, okay? I love the guy. He's one of those guys. He doesn't take any shit from anybody on the racetrack. And he gets a lot of heat for it. He is the bad NASCAR. He's the heel basically in NASCAR. You know, he surpassed Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch, and the thing is,
Ooh, the Busch brothers.
yeah, and yeah, and you know, and if any of you guys watch NASCAR or anything, I don't know how the racing scene is over here, but you know, he hasn't answered any of my tweets, and it pisses me
Son
off.
of a bitch.
And it sucks. So I know how you guys feel.
There it is.
Right. So I know how you feel. I'm with you.
At the Bob Holly. Bob Holly, ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen.
thank you.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
I appreciate
That was fun. All right. Let's welcome up our co-headliner of the evening. He's a man of many names. Let's call him David Hart Harry Smith Jr.
Esquire. Thanks
What-
for having me today, Colt.
Hey, buddy. What would you prefer? What's the name of... If this was you and TJ in backyard wrestling when you were 14...
Just call me Harold. No, just call me Harry.
Are you a Harold? Is that
No,
the real name?
no, just
Does your
Harry.
birth certificate say Harry?
Yeah, just Harry. No Harrison, no Harold.
I'm a little disappointed. You've got great shoes on for this
Thank you.
audio podcast I'm recording.
These are my Tiger Nike shoes. They are very comfortable. If anybody wants to get a pair, they can do so. Very comfortable.
Way to go. Congrats, guys. Give yourself a hand for being able to go on the internet and ordering shoes.
Give yourself a hand like Barry Horowitz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, any Barry Horowitz stories, Bob? He's got plenty of them. My Jewish uncle. Tiger shoes.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about, did you ever show those to Tiger Hattori?
No. No. You know what? I would have worn these on the last tour, but I was in Noah, so I did not. But I did bring a pair for Sayama Tiger Mask, the original Tiger Mask.
You were just telling me how you trained with Tiger Mask.
Yes, that's right. I, when I go to Japan and I have my time off, I, surely make, good use out of my time and try to get as much training as I can. And I've been very, very fortunate enough to be able to train with legends like Tiger Mask. And I got to train with, and a lot of the fans here are probably familiar with him, especially from his early days as Sammy Lee in the English wrestling over here. And I mean, the way he moved around the ring, and I'm sure you saw a lot of the matches, is just like poetry in motion, just smooth, fat and fast. And even though Sayama's bigger and he's older now and he's a little heavier, a lot heavier, he's still very fast and he kicks very hard. And anybody that wants to watch him training guys, they can go on YouTube.
So hold on. Harry showed me this video of Tiger Mask.
Has anybody seen this, just out of curiosity? No.
It's a video of Sayama training young kids, would you say?
Young aspiring wrestlers.
Young aspiring
fighters.
wrestlers. Explain this video, please.
Okay, so so basically, if you go to YouTube and you just type in Sayama training, you can see Sayama when he was training his students at the original Super Tiger Gym, and I mean, he's beating the shit out of them.
He's whacking them with kendo sticks
As hard as he, like
in the face.
yeah.
And it's like, I was gonna say, Capitelli, you're a pussy.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to bring that up as we just talked about that. But.
Yeah. So yeah, man. If you just type up Siama training, I mean, he is really beating the hell out of these guys, and like he just smacking him like right over, like whapping him right over the face with kendo sticks. He's booting him, yelling at him, belittling
It's almost
them.
where it's so unrealistic. Like it's kind of funny, and I'm laughing at it, like picturing it being on like a Tosh.0 type show. But then you have to sit back and realize, like, those people are human beings.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he didn't do that to me.
I was going to say, did he try anything with you?
No, he was. You know what? I have to say, like I said, I've been very blessed with opportunities like that to train with Siama, because I mean, the guy is a genius with pro wrestling, and anybody that can watch his old matches with Dynamite Kid, I mean, they revolutionized the junior heavyweight wrestling over in Japan, and the way the guy just thinks, and you talk to him, you can really talk to him and see how smart he is with wrestling psychology. How to throw kicks, how to throw punches, how to throw Russian hooks and stuff like that. So I could see that.
What's a Russian hook?
It's all in the shoulder here, like that. I'd have to do it with a pad to show you, to really show you. But Siama's Russian hook is very hard. Whoever taught it to him. Probably not Nikolai Volkov, but you never know.
Let's just agree that it was Nikolai Volkov, right?
So Siama's he's been awesome, being able to train with him.
Hold on, Bob, you got to have Nikolai Volkov stories, right? No, okay.
Hey, Bob, when he was there, he was wearing the scent sign.
Wasn't that
on
the
back.
best?
Yeah.
When he had the scent. When Ted DiBiase made him wear the scent sign, nobody gives a shit. Jesus Christ. We're
too old for that.
Yeah. I feel we bonded over that.
But the training's been awesome with Siama. Although he was very nice to me, I can see in his eyes he's got a really short temper, and I can see that he could. And I've heard that he's got a really short temper too.
So obviously he had those matches with Dynamite, the Tiger Mask Dynamite.
Oh, legendary! Yeah,
and like I'd imagine he probably had matches with your dad too.
No, you know what?
Just kidding.
No. So originally, funny enough, Siama first met my dad. He was the first guy that he met when he came to England to wrestle. And then my dad did not start going to New Japan until 1983, the end of 83. And during that year, Siama had kind of retired, and he wrote a book kind of exposing the business. And then he wanted to start the UWF, and the rrest is history. But no, he never did.
So when he was over in England, he never wrestled your dad either?
No, he didn't, because I think they were both baby faces. So no, he did first meet my dad over here when he was, I think my dad would have been 16 or 17.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's kind of fun to be in the UK. I'm careful not to say in England, but in the UK, right? I was careful not to say it. With the son of the British Bulldog. And of course, like, I understand this is about Harry, but like, I imagine you enjoy celebrating whenever talking about your father and celebrating your father.
Yeah, always when I come to the UK, it's a great experience. Not only do I get to usually have good matches over here, but I get to see family and friends, and
there's got to be so many.
My grandfather, he's still around, and and for what it's worth, I still get to see Dynamite Kid, although his condition is pretty poor these days. But it's a great opportunity always.
Okay, what do you do when you go? So you go over to Dynamite Kid's house?
Yes,
and
he's in an assisted living kind of environment, which is good for him, and I'm glad that the United Kingdom over here takes care of people like that are not so fortunate like himself, and can't take it. He can't walk or anything like that.
So what's he do? Like, you
he
go over there, you hang out with him. What are you guys doing?
Well, he watches his antique shows.
See, that's what I want to hear.
And he wheels around, and he's just hard to he just drinks. That's it. And that's the way he's content, and I'm happy for him in a way, because he's content.
Okay, Bob is coming onto the stage. Okay, you're don't. Bob is watching the Siama video.
Oh, you're watching it?
Are you kidding? Go on. ridiculous, isn't it?
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm too rough?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you?
I'm like a Teletubby compared to this guy.
I like.
Yeah.
I also like how he tried to bring up his phone like it was like the Rawtron. Like, look, everybody. Although phones are big enough that you could kind
So
of.
that's
see
an
it.
assignment for everybody tonight. Go on YouTube, type in Sama training. Yeah. So
What is your dad? Did your dad tell you about the British scene like when you were a kid? Because there was a point when he went back. Were you born when he went back to England?
yeah, certainly. So
Like what was that in between WCW and WWF? Maybe. or
yeah,
something?
it would have been about 93, 94. And then he came back here to work with Max Crabtree. And then I came over here like as a visit, and he stayed for, I think, over a year, like back here, living here and touring. And yeah, he told me a little bit about the British scene. He just told me, the different rules with the rounds and
But I
like
mean,
with
I
the
mean
referee
less,
one.
I mean, right, but I mean less about the rules and more about just like the difference between the lifestyle and maybe even the politics, or like the fun, the amount of fun, the funometer. Is that a thing? Sure.
Yeah, you know what? He honestly he didn't bring up much about. He would talk more about Calgary and WWF and that sort of stuff. He did talk about the English scene, but it wasn't.
Was he because he came over here for Max?
Yes. So I guess a good story would be. So he started originally teaming up with Big Daddy, who was a big superstar over here, right? And then he was
Like when he was the young boy.
yeah.
He was one of Big Daddy's young boys, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then he was teaming up with him and that sort of stuff. And then I think he was, he was kind of kayfabing it to a lot of the people at school because he was still in high school, right? So and then
Wait, hold on.
and then one day, when he finally debuted on World of Sport or whatever, everyone's like, oh wow, and this and that and the other. But he never told anybody about like anybody at school that he was training or doing shows, just like spot shows.
He just showed. So imagine you're in high school, like everybody else, and then the next day you show up and you're Hulk Hogan's partner, basically, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, you'd be the king of high school.
Yeah. And I do remember Big Daddy vaguely because he was coming around about 94, but he wasn't wrestling. He was just like signing autographs.
You
He
met
was,
Big Daddy?
I certainly did.
He was doing the convention circuit?
Basically. Yeah.
He was just going around signing autographs?
Yeah, he would just set up a table. He was just quiet, and the fans loved him, and
You remember. That's a vague memory.
I do remember him. Yeah.
Wow.
He was a big fella.
Did he pat you on the head, or did he kick you in the stomach? He was known to hate children, apparently. I don't know.
Was he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe because you were...
Yeah, it's because Davey's son. Or whatever,
yeah. What does Davy Boy mean?
Well, so when he was born, I guess when his first name was David, right? And then when it said for his middle name, I think it was his mom got
was a
mistaken,
boy, right.
and she thought that it was not his mom. The doctor got mistaken and wrote boy for his middle name.
I think you did tell me that story.
And then it was just stuck. Yeah.
Were you ever considered to be Harry Boy Smith?
Yeah, but it just didn't have the same ring.
It doesn't, does it?
It just doesn't. It would be like Colty Boy Smith. I don't know. Ooh. No, it just it just didn't have the same ring. But going as Davey Boy Smith Jr. in Japan's been a good final kind of name change for me that's stuck, and it's been good. And I mean, it's an honor. And the Japanese fans certainly remember my dad dearly, and it's that they certainly I guess
Equate the two.
equate
Right.
the two, categorize the two,
Yeah.
and it's just it's
So,
good.
since you were last on my podcast, which everyone can go back and listen to,
Yes, many rib stories.
yeah. Well, I didn't want to
Brent Chisholm
I
stories.
didn't want to talk about Brent Chisholm, who's, who's still your favorite.
Yes.
But you've become you've become a real fixture on the Japanese circuit. And I always thought after WWE you would go into MMA.
Yeah.
I always said to so the people that when we practice at FCW, WWE's developmental, like Harry, no one wanted to practice with him because he's he would just shoot on you, and you could see like what a great ground.
Oh, thank you.
You know
thank
what
you.
a great base for an MMA. But I mean, was it just that New Japan? It was just too sweet of a deal to not go into MMA.
No, yeah, I still have a lot of interest in MMA. I just unfortunately until now have never really had any offers. I got to meet and had a dinner and meeting with the owner of Pancrase, Mr. Sakai, in Japan, and we talked about some stuff. And that was the first actual introduction to anybody that's owning a major MMA company. And I kind of feel bad because a lot of these fighters, these poor guys, and I have a lot of respect for them, but a lot of these amateur MMA guys don't make money. Like, I mean, they fight for $500 and they might miss work because they're out for 2 months.
And by the time they pay for the gym dues and
their trainers, gym dues, or protein, their supplements, And CM Punk, he's caught a good break with the UFC and stuff like that. So I'm happy for him. But I never had any offers. And the only real offer I had was with Batista, and I was going to debut on his show, and that happened to be when I was training was when I came back to New Japan originally. And I was on his fight camp, and we trained, and it was an awesome
You were ready to fight
experience.
on that fight, huh?
Yeah, I was. And then New Japan came, and I was like, man, I don't know if this opportunity with New Japan is going to be around in a year. What if there just was a million things running through my head, and it was a good decision. And and training, I actually helped train Batista with his wrestling for that fight. And me and Stephan Bonner, Eric Albarracin, a bunch of guys. So it was a great experience. And then, like I said, going to New Japan was the best thing for me. You know what I mean? Like I think I've really found myself there. Anybody that's like watched any of my Japanese stuff, it's a lot. My wrestling is just different there, and it's just because of the style. And I think that the Japanese style just fits better for me, you know, and that's just, and I'm just one of the, we're all like drops of water from the rain, right? Everybody's different, you know what I mean? So it just happened to fit me better. That's where I was going before I went to WWE, and then when I left,
can I say something?
Yeah.
All drops of water look the exact same to me. Right? It's a drop of water. What are you talking? Who taught you that?
Yeah.
No? Is that a known saying? Drops of water? I think it's more like ice cream, right? Ice creams are different.
Well, I come from Canada. We get snow, we get hail, we get rain.
Sure. Why not?
Baseballs falling from.
Yes. And so you trained with Billy Robinson, who passed.
Yes.
Who's a UK dude.
Yes, sir.
I hope, as Billy Robinson is no longer with us, I know for a fact he would never want anyone to call him a UK dude. So I'm sorry, Billy Robinson. But he never tried to like hook up an MMA thing for you?
No, because his only contact was with the UWF before, right? So, but we talked about it. He showed me a lot of submission stuff. He showed me some street fighting techniques and stuff like that.
Street fighting techniques?
Yeah.
On Nintendo? Yeah.
Yes. No,
it's my crowd right there.
I take away everything that Billy showed me, and I was, like I said, very fortunate to be able to train with him. And I was actually the last person he spoke to before he passed, and via email, which was pretty nice and touching. And I happened to be over here training with Roy Wood, who lives in Wigan, and he really showed me a lot. He thought the world of me, and if I certainly would have an MMA fight or go into that career in the next year or so, I'd definitely like to dedicate all my success certainly to him and Josh Barnett too. He's one of my good friends?
I know Dynamite was in the Wigan Snake Pit. Was your dad in the Wigan Snake Pit?
Yes. So they both started out there, and then
do they have stories of the craziness that went on there?
Yeah, they just, what? My dad told me a little bit about it, and then Dynamite, he talks vaguely about it on his the new Japanese DVD that they've just released, and he just kind of said Billy was just too mean on him, which he probably was, even though.
When Dynamite Kid says somebody is too
mean on you, yeah.
When Bob Holly says someone is too mean,
So yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, obviously that has a lot of lore and
yeah, so they started their ground wrestling there, and then they went over to Ted Betley's gym to learn pro wrestling, and then actually Ted, he was working. I think it was my grandfather who's still around. Luckily, he agreed to do the pipe fitting underneath the ground for Ted Betley in exchange for him to train Davey how to wrestle. So that's kind of a funny story.
Well, that's a solid trade.
And I think that when they were at the Snake Pit, it was just Steve Wright and Roy Wood were the only. But when my dad was there, but Billy would have been there when Dynamite was there because he started a few years earlier. So, but yeah, when Dynamite Kid says that, it's
nuts.
too rough. I mean, yeah,
That's Dynamite Kid and Dennis Stamp both agree that Billy Robinson was too tough. Okay. Nobody listens to my show. Everyone can fuck off. All right.
Is Dennis still jumping on the trampoline?
We
still got it.
We got him booked, man. It was amazing.
That's good.
I think,
I'm happy to hear that. You know,
yeah,
that's good. That
it's a touching story. I think.
That's good.
Where are you at on the things?
Yeah. So I'll be here for this week. Staying. Just gonna hang out and see some family over here in the UK.
This isn't live.
And then next week doing another comic convention up in. Newcastle.
Twitter, Facebook. Where are you at on that stuff? You promoting your stuff?
When you said what are you up to?
I said where are you at on the things? How did you not understand that?
I was going to say 6'4" and a bit, 120 kilos. Yes, for everybody out here, you can follow me on Twitter at DB Smith Jr. I do have a Facebook account. I keep it. Well, you can add me onto that, but beware of the crazy Kathy Hunter to message and harass you guys if you do. If you're lucky enough to.
That's a known thing that your fans will harass other people because they're friends with you?
Yes. Anybody that Kathy sees as a new friend, she's like a pit bull, relentless. Yeah, you know what, and she's one of my biggest fans. I can't say anything bad about her. She's just
Harry always has the best characters around him.
Yeah.
And that's why we love him.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
She was I mean, Tyson Kidd, he's got a pretty good tolerance for stuff, but even he blocked her.
He tapped out.
He blocked her. So
awesome. Harry Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Harry. Thanks, buddy. All right. Hey, guys, that is the show for this week. I really appreciate it. Big thanks to you guys here live and in Wales for sitting here and listening and taking this in. Big thanks to Steve Lynskey, everybody. Thanks to Bob Holly. Thanks to Harold. And a huge thanks to Showmasters for having me and putting this on. Also thanks to Cable Guy Jeff and Stu Stone. Thanks to Kid Russell, Matt Jenkins on the music, Dane Miller with some tech help. Some sponsors. Again, highspots.com. Let's see. Let me try to remember this offhand, huh? Over 100 titles. It's got to be on a piece of paper. I can't read this. Hundreds of downloads available, plus wrestling gear, wrestling ring, wrestling mat, freight train DVDs, $5 wrestling DVDs. It's all available at highspots.com. ProWrestlingTees.com is where you can support your favorite independent wrestlers. Buy their T-shirts, support them directly. It's a great way to help out the independent wrestlers. Also, Tweaked Audio earbuds. Not wearing them right now. They are downstairs at my table. Get over 30% off and free shipping. Go to tweakedaudio.com/Colt. This has been The Art of Wrestling. For Colt Cabana, I'm Colt Cabana. Thanks. All right, here's how these work. The live ones, what's going to happen is, oh, man, there's a little girl in the crowd. Dad, is it okay if we just pretend that there's not a little girl in the crowd? Okay. Yikes.